Welcome back. Last video we covered Flexbox, one-dimensional layout, either a row or a column. Today we are covering CSS Grid, which handles rows and columns at the same time. So Grid is for laying things out in a table, not a data table like our menu, but a visual grid where you define columns and rows and place things into them. So let's build two examples. So the first thing we are going to do here on our home page is we are going to display a row of cards, and it's going to be images, a preview of 3 of our most popular items. So I'm going to send this image we have right now on the index, the store front image, which is on the welcome section, and we are gonna Control X, and I'm gonna put it in the about, right after how it's yeah, after the how this started, after this paragraph. So we're gonna leave it here for now, because in our index here we are gonna, below this, we're gonna add the grid of cards. Okay, so index, in our index home, we have our welcome section. So below our welcome section, we are gonna add another section, and this is gonna be where we put our cards. And let's start with H2 and what we're for, and then we are gonna wrap the cards inside a div dot. This is a Emmet trick. So it autofills the class equal card grid. And this, I named it like this because this is the name I want. So this is a div wrapper, and inside we are gonna have three cards. So div dot card. Again, I named it card. So inside each card, we are going to have an image, and another div with a card body class. Because inside this div, we are going to have another header and a paragraph. Let's start filling this out. Here we are going to have the alternative text is cup of coffee. And our source is gonna be images, and simple image I did using, well, it's too big for now. Image I did So let me delete this image for now so we can see the rest of the setup. Let's keep this as the placeholder so I can see what's going on before the CSS. And then the header, let's put pour over. This is the name of our pour over coffee. And then a brief description. Single origin changes weekly. I'm gonna do a span. So we have the same this class price is, so the price is bolder or with another color we did in the other table. So this is the skeleton without any CSS of our card. I'm gonna delete the two other cards so I can copy this one that's semi filled out. So right now every card, what's going to be a card is one over the other. But we are getting there. So now the second card, this one, it's gonna be, how about our fresh croissant, and then the H3 croissant, the paragraph description, baked fresh every morning, and then the price $3.50. So then the third div, we are gonna do how about a house made cinnamon roll, and then cinnamon roll, and then our paragraph, house made limited daily for 25. So if I add the images now, which I already have them in the images, these are AI generated, nothing, just for the examples, right? The croissant has 3 legs. But that doesn't matter. It's educational. So if I insert the images right now, we are gonna have those very big, and it's gonna mess up. We can't see anything yet. So we need to start with CSS. So the structure here, we have a top div wrapping the whole thing, which is we named it card grid because this is what holds inside 3 divs. So let's start with that card container card. Because it's a class, we need the dot. So, and here's the keyword. The key value pair display. We did flex last video, right? So now we are gonna do grid. So we need to specify grid template columns. Repeat. Three, comma, 1 FR. Okay, so let me explain this line. The green template columns, and then this repeat is a function that repeats this statement 3 times. So this was the same as writing 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. And 1 FR, 1 FR. The FR is fractional. FR for fractional unit means the 3 columns we want are all the same width. So means 1/3 of the, because if we expand this gets wider. It gets 1/3. If we want one column wider, we set this to 2. And now this one is, now it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's divided into 25%, 25%, and this one gets 50%, right? So do you like the fancy repeat 3 or like this? All right, let's keep going. Let's now do a gap in between them of 24 pixels and a little margin top of 20 pixels for now. Okay, so now let's work on the card itself. Dot card, and then let's change the background color and use one of our variables. Well, we already have a background color, right? A border. Let's do a border of 1 pixel, solid. Let's do the little green thingy. There. Now we can see what each card is doing, right? The background, just background, because if we later want to change it, well, here it is, no? Let's round it a bit. Round the corners a bit, 4 pixel. Here, a bit of roundiness, and that's what this border radius does. And overflow hidden. And this is a tricky one. This overflow hidden, I had to look it up, because once we set our image inside, is so the images are rectangular. Is so everything that overflows, it crops or hides. So the image looks also a little bit round in the corner. Okay. So let's work on the card. On the card image, sorry. So now we can finally see it. Width of 100% of its container. a lot of boilerplate. I had to look up. And then now, let me first. So we already see it stretched it up, right? Let me see if this works. Let's bring in the images. So here, images, and this is our coffee. There. And then this, the croissant. Images. There. And this one is the images cinnamon roll. There we go. And see what it does? Since we specified the width to be 100% of the container, it fills it up. And we manually placed the height. So it plays with the width. And if it overflows, it crops it. So it changes the image size with the size of with the width of our browser. And maybe later on we are going to make this responsive. So if it's on a phone, places one of these on top of the other, we'll see. We'll see about that. So let me get this back over here. So this object fit cover, we already covered the width of 100 and the height. We hard coded it to 180 pixels. But the object fit cover specifies how the contents of a replaced element should be scaled relative to the box. So instead of stretching or squashing the image to fit the box, it crops it to fit the space. So that's why we see the cup the same size, but we get to see more part of the image if we expand this. And if we get in here, we see less image, right? Here we can see the border, we can see the border. So, and now we cannot see the border. So instead of stretching it, it crops it. See, now it squishes it and it distorts it. So it only looks nice on these sizes, but if we have this size, it squishes it. So this is what this cover does. And this display block, just a little space, it auto does a space if I do not put this display block, because images by default are inline. The next thing should be on side of the image. So this is a common practice, and I had to Google this, right? Research for this. This is common practice, so it makes that the image is reserved, like paragraphs are, on its own line. So we don't have issues with the spacing beneath it, I guess. I don't know. You tell me. Okay, so now this next thing. Oh, this looks awful. But now inspect. So this next thing, the whole square, this is our card body. Here, this is our image, and this is the whole card. And the next thing here, this card body. So let's work on this little card body. All right, so let's card body and padding of 16 pixels. Is it too much? So is it way too big? I don't know. 10. Dot card body. So the H3 inside our card body, and that one will get a font family of our Frances. Do we need a margin on the bottom? I guess we don't, but anyways. And then now let's do the card body and the paragraph inside the card body. Let's font size a little bit smaller than the rem. So 0.9 rem. And now margin bottom ten pixels. And then let's do the price. And here's gonna be the oops. Card body. The dot price class inside the card body. And then we are gonna display block. Okay, so anyways, now this is our home. Let's do the about page. So this is where the emmet wrapping gets handy. So inside this section, we are gonna do 2 columns, just for fun. So this image and these 2 things in one and this in another. So first off, let me wrap this whole thing, and then we go to the command palette emmet wrap, and let's wrap with a div dot to call here. So we wrapped everything we selected inside a div with a class name of 2 calls representing 2 columns. And then this H2 and this P will be needed. We need to wrap them inside one div. These 2 again. So view command palette emmet wrap, and then just a simple div like that. And this wrapping inside this div is so now we have this part and the image. So we don't have 3 things, we have only 2. So now let's go to the CSS and do the dot to. This is how we name our this a wrapper container thingy grid, and then again grid template columns, and then the repeat or the one fraction. See, now we have two parts on the left and on the right. See what we did? So let's add a little gap of 40 pixels. So now let's align items. Start. So these align items start. Align means vertically. Start means at the top. So it does not try to align the text horizontally with the image. All right. Let's continue. Well, before we continue, let me do one thing, because I think I like my image. Let me cut, I mean, and paste. So my image is at the left and how it started at the right. Do you like this better? I don't know. Two column, and then we already have this content image with the other image. So let's see what happens, because we did not specify the class name of content image to this one. Yeah, so we did the little border thing we did on we had already done when we used it here on the menu. But I guess this menu one will have to be gone. Well, let's leave it in here for now, and then when we finish the menu, we'll deal with this image. So back at the about. All right. So back in video 6, when we did the where is it? The content image, we had the width specified, but right now, yeah. We need to work on this, because if this also here it squishes it, and then it's gone, and then it stays the same. Yeah, so I found the issue. So this style of width of 400 was since the beginning. So this one is the one that needs to go. So now this grows and shrinks to 100% of the column. There we go. Is that better? Okay. So here we are. This is CSS Grid for you. We did the little cards things in a 3-row grid, and we adjusted or redo the about now with these two columns. So we are getting there. Hope you enjoyed this one. So that's it. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.